lane. The Jhin, the Nautilus had a lot of pressure throughout the game. They're able to transition well. We saw, even though he went down 0-4, he still had the item advantage, he still had the level advantage, and was doing just a lot of work. And Zed immediately banned towards Jefficate. I think he should not have told them to ban Zed because I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, so in fact, you can see that they have swapped sides. We did show our graphic overlay was a little bit messed up. It was Duke on the left. Should be Duke on the right, but again, that Zed banned away. Interestingly enough, that Victor also banned away. We've still got pick and ban going over here. Looks like Syndra and Kennen banned away from Eugen and Ackerman. I'll be excited to see how important this Poppy is in the top lane once again.
That's what you expect. Syndra being banned at a blue side. And once again, we might see the Poppy be considered a first pick, although the Trundle is not a giveaway for that. You can definitely play Poppy into the likes of Trundle because you can just use the Keeper's Verdict to make sure that he gets out of the fight and never joins again.
Yeah, so that Syndra for Eugen, that's actually his highest win rate champion in solo queue. He's got an 81%.
Hold on, no. Syndra is pretty easy to have a high win rate on as of late.
Just gotta land a stun.
Yeah.
And
well, no, you don't even need to land. You throw all your balls on the floor, and then it picks them up, and then you kill somebody, and then you use the stun with all of them, and you hit even more stuns.
Oh, okay. So it's just double stacking the damage.
So you don't start off with stun. You start off with the ultimate, so you have more balls scattered, and then you have more balls to utilize the stun for.
Interesting. Well, seems like we're not going to get a chance to see that. Instead, Goober going to show a quick change-up, picking Caitlyn away from Kumori.
So the dominance in the bottom lane seems to be what these teams have identified as the key point in this series. The first game we saw that playing a huge part. Second time around, again with the Caitlyn being taken over the Vayne, and now to the point where it got first pick because the Poppy was out. Makes me think that maybe the next game we're gonna might have to see some priority between these two picks, but man, I don't want to see Zach into Poppy again.
Yeah, that Poppy was banned away by Duke, so maybe Sunny going to say, all right, if we can get rid of the Poppy, then maybe I'll have a better way to get into the back line. So Echo was hovered for Omega to counterpick away from Ackerman, but decided to go with the Gnar instead.
And Gnar is a pretty solid blind pick. He can offer a lot for the team, right? He's physical, he has engage, he's a decent laner, he's able to just do a whole lot, but the problem is that the inconsistency with the pick is directly related to the skill of the player behind it. If you're a really good Gnar, you're going to be outstanding, you're going to have the greatest engages, just soloing out people left, right, and center. If you're an average Gnar, your build's gonna be subpar. You're not gonna use your Fury your Rage Bar efficiently, and you're gonna find yourself TPing into fights as mini Gnar, or maybe even losing lane to matchups that you're expected to win.
We'll have to keep an eye on Omega's performance because he's going up against Ackerman, who has shown himself to be a very capable top laner. For comparison, so far this year, Omega has played 1,220 games as of yesterday, whereas Ackerman played 408, 3 times as many games.
And we see that skill difference coming out here. How versatile is Omega that he knows the Aurelia Gnar matchup? It's a very common one. Typically picked back when Aurelia wasn't fully nerfed. Now she has received a bigger wave of nerfs that might make this matchup a little bit longer or difficult. Particularly the nerf to the ultimate, making it have a longer duration so that she can't trade as aggressively. But still, this is a matchup where Aurelia will have the advantage, will have kill pressure, and it's going to be a matter of what jungler can really set up their top laner for success.
Now it's time for UNC to pick that jungler and that mid laner. We've seen Eugen make a couple of roams along with Jefficake. Surprisingly mobile in that mid lane, but now that that Victor is gone, he'll get the chance to get a counter pick. As Kumori and Gop now taking Ashe and Nautilus. So once again, we've got the Hookman Gop landing tons and tons of snares, but there's also an Ashe to follow it up now.
So it's cool. I like this by Duke. The fact that they're saying we just want hard engage. We want to be able to pick a fight wherever we want. We struggled the first time around. The second one was a little bit better. Now we know what we want. Just every single pick here has massive implications for engaging onto anybody on the map, which is really exciting, right? Because that's what makes an explosive game. When you have an advantage, you can push really hard. And because you have so many ultimates, you're able to do it a lot more consistently.
We'll see if Kumori is going to be able to land those, or if North Carolina will be able to see them coming and get out of the way. But Twisted Fate looks to be the pickup for Eugen. That is actually his most played mid laner of all of them.
And this is a human lineup, right? Every character on North Carolina is just a human character.
Yeah, you're correct.
By that notion, they're a little bit fragile, but they're going to have to just put all the eggs into the Aurelia basket. There's really nothing else in this composition that stands out as a win condition for them. Your bottom lane getting really far ahead is not going to do a whole lot when you're dealing with 3 mega tanks like what is in Duke's lineup. So it's going to be Twisted Fate going top lane 24/7 and really having Aurelia solo carry this game. It's a bold strategy. I'm always commending boldness in here, so let's see where it goes.
We'll have to see if it pays off. That means Duke are going to have to fill out with a lot of damage for their final pick. Ashe does quite a bit, but Jeffacake looking at that Malzahar in the mid lane. Let's see if he decides to commit to it.
And that would be just a wonderful pick here, Malzahar, because the passive offers him protection against Twisted Fate. It also, it also happens to completely nullify strategies that rely on one character. So if they're putting all the eggs into the Aurelia basket, even though she has that tenacity that it isn't that effective as it was, she's not going to buy a QSS early on because she needs to put that gold into items that offer better DPS, better split pushing presence. So if he ever goes into a team fight and you have to deal with Malzahar, he just presses R every time Aurelia goes in, and there's nothing on North Carolina's lineup that can really walk up and hit anybody safely.
Perhaps we'll have to look for some lucky harass from that Caitlyn or Twisted Fate from a distance to break the Void Shift before a proper engage. But again, Duke now, they've got a clear composition, something that they didn't do in Game 1, but were able to do in Game 2, which led them towards a victory. They've got the 3 big tanky members in the front, along with 2 large DPS in the back. And North Carolina on the other side, they've got something a little different.
Yeah, it's mostly an early game comp here from North Carolina, right? You have Janet Caitlyn. You can't get a more obnoxious lane than this. It doesn't have a whole lot of kill pressure. It's just push, 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 disengage, run away, chip you down, get a CS advantage, or take the turret. Twisted Fate, similarly in mid lane, he's just pushing. He's pushing with the red cards. He's pushing with wild cards, porting across the map. And Lee Sin, just such a mobile jungler that at level 6 can offer an incredible amount of synergy with Lee. So I'm expecting to see maybe a little bit of attention towards the mid lane from North Carolina and then transition that into the top side while leaving bottom lane completely alone. If bot lane can go just evenly without any influence from the jungler, I think that North Carolina will get an advantage, although at level 6, things might get heated with the amount of CC that Duke offers on the bot side.
We'll have to see if Duke will try to force that into an explosive team fight with that crowd control advantage. But so far in the first 2 games, UNC have been the first ones to take the first turret, to take the first advantage, and then rotate up to try to swap for some more early objectives. So we'll see if UNC can do the same thing. As you said, they've got the early game composition, which primes them for it.
Yeah, but having the early game composition is also having an extra burden, right? You feel like you're on a ticking time bomb. You know that you have to get a certain amount of gold or a certain amount of pressure and advantage by a certain point in the game, or you know that your team fights are going to start being really hard. You're not going to be able to find those flanks. Your Aurelia TPing behind what suddenly at 20 minutes looked like a good idea. At 40, she TPs behind. She dies instantly. And therefore, you lack an engage opportunity. So really difficult comp from North Carolina. But if they can pull it off, just wonderful by them.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can do it. I mean, there's a lot resting on their shoulders right now. 96-year-old rivalry, the first time these 2 teams are meeting in an official capacity. Not to discredit the other times that you guys have played. I'm sure it was very exciting.
Every time you mention 96-year-old rivalry, I just can't help but imagine a 96-year-old man just tearing on for this and saying, yes, this is who
Legends. I don't know why I imagine him to actually be, like, creaking and groaning old. Because there are, like, spry old men. Yes, League of Legends,
At
yes.
96?
Yeah, sure. When's the last time you've been to? I haven't been to a retirement home in a long time
I've
either.
never been in one.
Yeah. I imagine that there are a couple. We'll just call our older students at the UNC campus our 96-year-olds. The seniors are probably the most embittered in this rivalry.
In the athletics department, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of the players of Duke actually mentioned that they missed watching the game last night between the two teams so that they could practice for the match today. So this means a lot to these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never really been too integrated with collegiate sports because I didn't come from this collegiate background, but I've gone to a couple of universities and kind of experienced what it's like. And I mean, you have states that dress one color for the games every weekend, things like that, which is just so insane that this is the amount of dedication and passion that is felt for these teams, and hopefully we can reach that level with collegiate esports.
So for the Duke basketball game, the Duke UNC game on the Duke basketball court, they do something called, I believe it's tenting, where up to 2 months in advance, they will wait out in front of the arena to get tickets, to get wristbands for the game. And North Carolina gets a little bit cold during January and February, so it creates a small sort of town of community of tents and sleeping bags and people staying out in the snow and ice and cold for 2 months at a time.
See, the first thing that comes to my mind is the hygiene of these tents. I mean, you're having a bunch of people swapping in and out there. Who's washing these tents, right? Like, that's not...
You've got to imagine that they try to keep pretty hygienic in these tents. I mean, they're students after all. They do try to keep focused.
I've been in dorms, man. That's not...
And on the other side, UNC, I don't know that they do anything quite as drastic as tenting to get into the UNC side of things, but that doesn't matter now because everyone is in the lecture hall ready to get schooled as we get into game number 3 between UNC and Duke.
And just once again, you get the classic standard 5-point formation. Really, nothing to be upset about. This is just the calm before the storm. It doesn't indicate much, just wards being laid down. You don't want to have your side of the map and be invaded. And by the same notion, you don't really want to invade because it is a potential big blunder if you cannot make it back to your lane in time.
Yeah, that level 1 health pool is so vital. If you take some early harass, that could end up having big ramifications. As Ackerman and Omega giving it the old gentleman's accord in the top lane.
I love when the days where you have the gentleman's accord, but you have somebody sneaking, you have the Olaf, do a little wrap around, and then just, you know, not very gentleman-like.
Yes,
but
it's a facade. So that's always been the question for me. When you play League of Legends in a competitive setting, to what degree do you value the competitive integrity of the gentleman's accord versus getting an early advantage?
Playing is like war, and there are no rules in war.
Oh, okay, all right.
There are no rules in war.
Then
if you can take the opportunity, you have the gentleman's agreement when you're in a position where you both recognize that you cannot gain an advantage from that, and that you simply both understand that dancing is the way to go at the time.
Well, the dance will soon shift from movement of the bodies to movement of the weapons, as the dance has taken its toll and now trades onto minions in all of the lanes. Apollo's eats the first hook. Goober will also eat a hook, and Kumori chases back.
I feel like Gop has been playing the brushes so well in the past 2 games, and maybe I'd like to see UNC try to play the harass game a little bit more with the minions so that the Nautilus doesn't just get free angles onto the hook, because he's getting it once again, and I feel like this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, gets level 2 and just so many attacks, burning through the health pool as much as he possibly can of UNC's bottom lane.
Lee Sin trying to do a little cheeseroni, but this is not going to work.
Oh, he actually lands the Sonic Wave, burns down half of Omega's health. But the Meganar will return, giving just a little bit of health back, and Ackerman gets the opportunity to catch the wave.
And that is wonderful news for Zach, because he knows that Lee Sin showed in the top side. He knows that he's safe to continue jungling, as Lee will have wasted enough time, and he has to route back down in order to keep jungling. So Zach most likely going to just free farm here and recognize that if he stays on this track, he will come out with an advantage over Lee Sin.
Yeah, you saw Theo looking for a way to get into that top lane. That Scryer's Bloom has spawned, and he uses it to scout backwards towards the mid lane to see if there's a gank path there. Little does he know, Sunny is right there.
Oh, I was about to give him insane compliments had he gone for this, but he just chooses to go for the gank. Sunny could go for the counter gank or just continue farming. Whatever the case is, he's still getting quite ahead of Lee Sin, and you can see it manifested in a 6 CS lead.
Yeah, in the jungle that is so much, even a level advantage now for Sunny as he heads on over towards that Krug side of the map, and Gromp will be the choice for Theo. Unfortunately not able to convert the early damage that he got onto Omega.
25 to 23 CS into the mid lane though. These guys are completely unscathed by what's happening in the jungle. So it's good to see that the matchup has been swayed to a perfectly even degree if you remove the jungle influence. Granted, the picks have changed from the previous 2 matches, but it's still good to see games where the mid laners can keep up in multiple matchups.
Sunny now heading towards the top lane, drops a ward, but won't even waste his time with the gank, as that is a large minion wave. And Theo could still be on that side of the map, theoretically.
And it's a great idea for him to back off here. You recognize that not only is your top laner too low to help with the gank, but that you're also fighting with a massive minion wave. Had he gone in on that, we could have potentially seen Ackerman turn this to a 1v2 kill, and that's just the last thing you want to see. Similar to the first game, CS is what really matters.
Yeah, trying to open up that advantage. Ackerman 9 CS ahead right now, as Theo is about 9 behind. He will take this Gromp camp that's going to help him catch up. And with a large minion wave pressing towards the bottom, he decides instead just to pick up that Scuttle Crab and continue farming in the jungle. Not going to look for a gank instead. First recall from Jeffacake will yield the lost chapter. And Eugen will go for his own first recall as well.
Probably D-ring into something else, a Fiendish. Oh, he's going straight for the Roa, it seems. Yeah. We might see a variation, perhaps a Proto Belt out of Twisted Fate. Hopefully not. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that is not what we see today.
I mean, it could be the GLP 800 for the slow.
Yeah, that one would also be another one that we don't want to see out of the Twisted Fate. But Roa is a fine item choice. And we'll have to see what he does with this, because it gives him that extra HP and mana to play the lane more safely, knowing that he's not going to die immediately to Malzahar, and should give him more opportunities to go for roams.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it is still even in CS. Goober and Kumori just trading those minions back and forth.
And Duke should be happy with this. The fact that they're going even in laning phase and they have a composition that clearly outscales in the 5-on-5 should make them feel comfortable, because the longer the game goes, the better it goes in their favor. And only a 15 CS lead in the top side, while you would have liked to see something less, the attention that Lee Sin has put up there has made it slightly more difficult. And as long as TF can't reach the top side, it's fine if Gnar falls behind in only CS.
So far, that is just about it. Omega actually did get a recall for an early Giants belt, and is now going to try forcing Ackerman back, but Ackerman is playing this lane so well right now.
So Ackerman, Ackerman is out of mana here, and he's trying to push it back, and he wants to save the TP. He doesn't want to use that teleport and find his dual lane in a disadvantageous position. So he's trying to push the wave back. He should not lose the teleport on this, because there is an extra wave. So what we'll most likely see is Omega just using his Mega Gnar here, trying to use as many abilities as possible to clear the wave quickly and deny some of the CS out of Ackerman and shrink that CS gap.
He is working on it right now. Still 20 down as the Phage is picked up for Ackerman. Looks like UNC's bottom lane are looking for their own recall. As Elastic Slingshot. Oh, the flash! Null Zone gets dropped.
Oh no, just a little bit, not enough coordination there by both these guys. Ooh. You chain the CC once more, and this is the last thing you want to see happen, because you have about 6 seconds of CC that you can apply with these two guys together, and it just never came down, because you have silence, you have suppression, you have the slingshot, you have the ultimate. That is just so much CC for the likes of Twisted Fate. But we might see him go here onto the Zac.
Oh, Sunny gets kicked back in. That's the Cell division already
TP and save him?
Ah, first blood by Theo. And they're chasing forward now, looking for Jeffacake.
no gold card there, so
Yeah.
nothing's gonna come out of it. At least they get the port out, which is really good.
Meanwhile, Ackerman continued to push that minion wave in the top lane. Now going to zone Omega out on the side in his own jungle.
And this is great. The fact that he's doing this, make sure that Gnar does not get to this wave. He misses out on even more CS, and that just allows him to grow the lead.
Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide on that side of the map. Ooh, Omega missed that one. And that one. That's not great.
And now, while we were saying that you want to see Duke go even into the late game, you also want to see them slow down and make sure that you're not giving these advantages, because while the composition from UNC might not be so strong at team fighting, if they get the right items, they will be devastating. Twisted Fate, if played well, if this guy's most played champion is TF, you know he knows how to play the team fight, and that just means that a TF that can play team fights well can really make a difference and carry.
Will go for a recall. Looks like it is going to be Rout of Ages with that Blasting Wand picked up. Meanwhile, our AD carries, after returning to lane, both went for the standard BF Sword into Zerker Greaves build. Haven't finished off the Greaves just yet, but they are on the way.
We'll most likely see the BF into Hurricane build out of both these AD carries. You want to have the BF so that you're dealing damage, and this little replay is going to be them catching Sunny. Oversteps a little bit too much for that ward, immediately gets kicked, and there's just nothing he can do here. It's going to yield a good little first blood for UNC, and the fact that Lee Sin gets it makes that advantage that he was giving up earlier on not matter so much anymore.
Hook now lands onto Goober. Kumori trying to follow up. Does not have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as they harass each other in that bottom lane, but not quite opening up any sort of kill. Theo maybe looking for something in the top lane, but Jeffacake has actually roamed down and now found that Lee Sin. Does not find the ultimate.
And that arrow was used in the top side when Ackerman was eyeing Omega. They try to use the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to try to maybe stun him and give Ackerman an opportunity to burst down Omega. Unfortunately, it missed, and now they find themselves in the bottom lane, kind of unable to defend themselves because the Twisted Fate ultimate is now coming up, and they'll have to defend it. Even though the arrow is up, they're in a position where they most likely will not be able to turn anything onto a kill unless they are near the turret.
Now UNC, 1,500 gold ahead in this early game with that first kill and a large CS lead opening in the top lane.
Yeah, it's getting massive now.
Yeah, going to look for more of an advantage. That's without any ganks. That's just Ackerman.
Oh, that first gank was something though, at least,
that's right? Yeah.
He did receive, I think, 2 ganks, so even though he maybe didn't show up there, the attention, the idea that the jungler was in the top side makes him play a little bit more scared. But I don't like that Theo is now using the time to kind of solo out the dragon. Even though the Janna is there, you want to make sure that everybody joins in, and they recognize it right away. This is good. Make sure that your AD carry and your mid laner, if they're not doing anything, you show up and you help everybody do the dragon, because it benefits everyone. Yeah. So why shouldn't everybody help?
The Infernal Drake now picked up very early for UNC. Going to help a lot with the damage that this comp needs to do to shred through the eventual tank line of Duke. But for now, they are just going to wait it out, continue playing the map, and continue playing that vision game. Right now, UNC are putting a lot of priority on that bottom side of the map, that bottom side of the river. As Ackerman and Omega are left to their own devices. Holy solo kill, Batman! Ackerman gets it. Theo from behind finds Kumori and kicks him against the wall. Eats some damage as Kumori looks for the style play, but Apollo's with the heal keeps his jungler alive.
Just by the skin of their teeth, making it out of this bottom lane, but Twisted Fate is still able to roam, and there's a TP out of Ackerman that he can use at any time. Unfortunately, they're not going to press him out of here, but TF is coming. He's got a clear path. We might see a kill.
Yeah, that was the destiny used. They're trying to dive the turret. Gate from behind, looking to turn it into a double kill. Gup has nowhere to go. It is indeed 3-0 on Theo, but 4-0 for UNC.
Just wonderful here from UNC, recognizing that they need TF to go down there, and they had created a path for him to go. There's a control ward on the right side of middle, 2 green wards on the banana brush and over the blue, so he feels perfectly safe walking down there, popping the gate, making sure that he sees everybody, and then instantly ports behind them. 2 kills, a turret, and when you rarely get the solo kill topside, they now recognize that this lane needs no help. They're in a great position.
This is now the third game in a row in which UNC have gotten that early advantage in the bottom lane, taken the first turret. Now the next step is to put Caitlyn to the top lane. Here's the solo kill.
And this was just a mismanagement from Omega. He thought that he was going to be able to reach Meganar and turn this fight around. Unfortunately, without using the abilities, he's not able to proc it right away. And Irelia just comes out ahead with so much damage, true damage. You see this happen every time. When she's hitting that He-10 style and you're in Mininar, you're done for. Just like the duo lane right here. TF is going to randomly come up here with a stroke of luck, hits everybody, and they're nice little double kill.
Yeah. Taking that first turret gold, once again prioritizing it onto Goober. And now 14 minutes in, UNC are actually changing things up. Goober not heading towards the top lane. There's no swap from UNC.
So this is a classic move. There's a couple of decisions that you can make when you're in a position when you're winning this hard. And the reason why they chose not to leave these lanes is because if you're winning every single lane, there's no need for you to change anything. Your top lane's already winning top, your mid laning is doing whatever he wants, and your dual lane can press up to the tier 2 whenever they want. So you keep the lane standard, you don't try to push for more turrets, because trying to push for turrets will most likely result in simply turret trading, and you want to make sure that you just accelerate your own gold. So keeping these lanes, I like the idea. I want to see Twisted Fate's ultimate be used really effectively onto this though, otherwise it's only going to stall the game out.
He's now getting that blue buff as his Rod of Ages is finished. He's also got the Ether Wisp on top of the Ionian Boots of Lucidity for additional cooldown reduction. At a glance, looks like that is 30% CDR.
He's got quite a bit. He's got blue
He's
buff
at 25%.
He's got blue buff right now too.
So just about to get that Destiny Gate off the cooldown once again, but UNC find Jeffa, pop the Void Shift, exhaust. There's the delayed gold card. Another kill for UNC.
And that is just a nice roam. They pushed the bottom lane, even though it wasn't to the tier 2. And this is just really crisp from UNC.
Oh, and here's the follow-up. Yujin heads to the top, but doesn't even need to.
They make the play mid, immediately transition it to the play bottom. It's a follow-through from a movement from the bottom side towards mid. It's extended to the top side, and now they're going to be able to push for the tier 1 to just UNC being faster than Duke in the macro play and looking really good doing it too.
Yes, our cameraman did not have a stroke in the mid lane. Duke Kumori fired his arrow at Goober, who flashed to dodge the arrow, but we didn't quite catch it on camera. Apollos is going to eat a snare, might be baiting, got back in. He's taking a lot of damage, down to 200 health before he will walk away, but the top tier 1 goes down, and the top tier 2, UNC.
They are playing this early game comp to a T. You utilize the advantages in lane to really punish by utilizing the global pressure from TF. And every port, even though they've been slim, has actually netted something that of value.
Oh. Whoops, Theo didn't want to be on that side of things.
You don't want to be involved with the plants.
That Blast Cone now taking the Rift Herald for the first time in this series. I believe the first time in uLoL Rivalries. Didn't even get to see one taken in last week's set of games.
It's only been a martyrdom for these Heralds, always leaving the existence of Summoner's Rift, but finally they're able to go into the hands of Aurelion. This is one of the best picks to have the Herald on, because when it comes to a team fight, and this is just going to be a little bit greedy from Jaffa Cake, not flashing the Tornado, noticing that TF had the gold card, but he recognizes it, he flash gold cards it when the passive is down, and this is a nice little kick.
Right into the wall. There goes the follow-up. Ah, the auto attack was even in mid-air for Yujin.
They even give him an assist.
So greedy for the kill.
Yeah.
We are currently 1-0-3 for Yujin, so again, having an excellent performance this game. His performance this entire series has been definitely up there. Now, Ocean Drake has just spawned, and UNC are ready. They send their duo. They've got teleport for Ackerman, and Yujin has got his Destiny Gate as well. So this could effectively be 5 people, and Duke know it, playing back and playing safe.
Yeah, it's Ocean, and now that laning phase is gone, it's not really that valuable, but you want to have this dragon when you have the lead. It will help your Elder, and as a team comp like this that will not scale very good into the late game, you have to prioritize this because the Elder will make your late game be relevant.
Gold cards stacked up. Hook is going to be tossed out. There's a Monsoon to reset the fight. Yujin split. caught in that void shift, trying to do what he can. Gold card, and he solo kills on the far side, and that makes it a 5v4. Teleport brings Gnar into the fight. He's found the AD carry, but he can't do anything. Sunny gets blobleted, but will drop a double kill for Theo, going hard carry right now. They chase it up even further, giving an ace. 11-0 for UNC.
Just such an absolute massacre, and it was played so well by Eugen from the start, hiding in the island rush, waiting for Jaffa Cake to come in. He hits him with 2 combos of wild cards and gold cards and is able to solo him out. Really well played, whereas in the middle of the fight, if you have 4 tanks, you're not dealing any damage. So the fact that Jaffa Cake wasn't there meant that whatever Duke would throw at UNC, they would be able to survive, because Janus Monsoon is so powerful. The healing, the peel, and the lack of DPS allows him to stand against tanks. Just look at here, Eugen solos out Jaffa Cake, hit him with 2 cards, and then the Monsoon separates everybody. The tank from Gnar is just barely there. Aurelia's already put Zach into passive, and he doesn't even get to hit the Gnar ultimate. So just all around, a little bit of discoordination from Duke, but just UNC playing it really well on an individual level all around.
Yeah, and then Kumori gets followed up for the final kill in that ace. It's currently an 11,000 gold lead as we crest the 20-minute mark. UNC have successfully won the early game quite handily, taking all but a single tier 2 turret. And Duke, they don't even have a single kill to their name.
So now the difficulty for UNC is going to be closing this game out, because they have a wonderful lead early on, but they're not going to be able to transition into the Baron just yet. You don't have a designated tank that can really stand up there and soak up Baron and turn at the same time while offering peel, because your only tank is going to be that Lee Sin. You don't have anybody that can really offer a body. So they're going to have to stall out this game in terms of Baron, but what we should see is something in the tier 2s.
Arrow finds Theo, but Goff gets knocked out. Monsoon to reset it. Teleport into the back. That means Ackerman is coming. He is on the hunt. There's no arrow to slow him down, but there is a silence. He catches Jaffa Cake, and he drops. Goff will be chased down as well. Flash gold card for Eugen. Makes it 3. Is he going to continue following up? Theo goes forward, and Eugen does not follow under the turret. Maybe now's the time for that Baron.
So you can't bait the Baron, but you can certainly get the fight, and they go for it right away. They pull the trigger with the TP off what looked like a decent pick attempt from the likes of Duke. Unfortunately, the damage just isn't there when you're dealing with Janna, and you have these compositions that rely onto the Zac, that rely on the Gnar jumping in there. Janna is just too damn good. They capitalize immediately, TP's in, and Twisted Fate's gold cards have been doing so much work. He's going to be able to get himself another nice little kill here.
Man.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, 5-0-6. You heard the announcer yourself. This guy is unstoppable. Meanwhile, Theo 7-0-2 on Bruiser Lee Sin. He's not even going full damage.
So he had the ward hop. He doesn't utilize it. Janna uses Monsoon right away, but the gold card connects into the Zac. They disengage from Apollos. They recognize they have to get out of here. But here, watch the gold card. Hits Malzahar immediately with the Herald damage, just so much, and he's going to go for the Flash Blade onto the Ashe. You kill both carries, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, they chase it forward, further scaring Duke back towards their own inhibitor. And now UNC are wholly on the offensive, looking for this final tier 2 and to break down an inhibitor turret so they can get this game over.
And they're doing the 1-4 split, which is perfectly fine, utilizing the Baron. And I have to just give credit to the build from Ackerman. I love the itemization here, choosing to go with the Dead Man's Plate instead of what we see sometimes as a Borg, as a Maw, as a Yomu's. He's going with a tankier item because they recognize that they need a frontline in these fights. They're so far ahead that they already have the damage. It really does not need to play a bigger damage role, and I wouldn't be surprised if all they go is purely tank at this point, because Caitlyn and TF are more than enough to deal with the likes of what Duke has.
Yeah, Kumori trying to clear it out. He's going to be engaged on. There goes. Oh. Whoa, where did he go?
Oh, God.
That was painful.
Just vanished.
Didn't even get the opportunity to try healing as he goes down 5 versus 4 now. And UNC rotating faster than even we can keep track of, heading now towards that mid lane to break the inhibitor. They've still got Baron for another 2.5 minutes.
And now they have a fat wave into the bottom lane. They're able to just go straight on that one. You have 12 seconds onto the Ashe, which should give enough time to get a little bit of harass onto this turret and hopefully push for the inhibitor because of how far ahead they are.
Yeah, they're now chasing forward. Jaffa Cake will be forced to flash back, eats a stun, and will die on respawn. Kumori fires an arrow for a bit of slow, but it is not going to save his mid laner. Still 5v4. Looking now for the inhibitor. Yujin will zone away. That's 2 inhibs down off of this push. 1 to go.
So if they are able to pull this off and get the next inhibitor and end the game without losing anybody, UNC would have literally perfect game, Duke. They have not dropped a single kill, a single turret, a single dragon, a single herald. They have not given them anything. They didn't even give him Spell Thief stacks because he didn't even run Spell Thief. So they have not given anything to Duke. Wonderful game by them.
This is the most possessive game of League of Legends I've ever seen. You could make horror films about how this game is being played out.
Some people want to do that, though.
This is now the Ocean Drake being picked up, the third one for UNC. Unfortunately, there's only going to be one more Elemental Drake spawning this game.
And hopefully we are not in the game by the time that spawns, as UNC is in such a prime position. You have an 18K lead at 24 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to close with this, right? You got dealt the god cards at this point. They should be able to go straight down the top lane and close it out without any hiccups whatsoever. The difference in items is too tremendous.
Well, hey, Duke, I heard that they run Exodia in their deck.
What's their Exodia?
No, that's they got the god cards, and the only thing that instantly wins
okay.
If you have to explain it, it's not funny,
I got it. I'm sorry. I never ran Exodia.
You're the one who brought up Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, but if you play Exodia is not it's only a card for the show, though.
No, it's a legit, like, nobody runs it.
If you play, it's a fun deck.
Yeah. You play Exodia if you want to troll people.
And then there's like Necro Exodia.
Oh, yeah, where you feed him into the graveyard and well, we're probably not going to see an Exodia here.
Yeah. The only Exodia is Twisted Fate joining the team because he's so powerful right now. And he took the right approach to the build. When you're snowballing this hard, you go with the Luden's Echo, giving you that mobility, that extra little burst. It's not a late game item, it's an early game item. And he's doing it to split push really well. And Duke, while they have all the engage, they just don't know where to use it. And they're going to go right away.
Denied! That's a hook still onto Goober. He knocks back out of the arrow, flashes the wall, dodging the CC. Meanwhile, Kumori gets cleaned up by Ackerman. Still, no one from UNC has died. Can they get a single kill? Just the one. But the answer, my friends, is no. Gop will die. The ace and the Nexus. 22-0. UNC smash